what's up? It's Josh, and today I want to show you why you aren't losing fat and why you aren't seeing the results that you want. So let's say you're a lady and you've been training for 3-4 times a week. You're getting stronger, you're adding weights, you're doing a little bit of cardio here and there, and you're just struggling to consistently see that body fat go down. Through the week you do pretty well. You eat the right stuff, you eat in the right amounts. Right now you're tracking your calories. You're aiming for about 1,200 calories a day. And the big problem or your limitation is when the weekend comes. You find yourself eating out a little bit more, socializing, enjoying yourself, just having a little bit more fun, a little bit more flexibility. But I want to show you what will happen if you're not paying attention to your food when you're going out at the restaurant. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of knowledge. So there's this thing called maintenance calories. And what that is, that's how many calories you need to maintain your body weight. There's a few different equations to get this, but it's not really important right now. Let's say your maintenance calories are 1,400, and you told me you've been eating 1,200 calories a day. So that puts you at a deficit, right? Because yours is 1,400, you're 200 below, which is not a lot, but it's just enough to consistently keep doing over the long term and consistently drop body fat if you do it right and if you stay consistent. You got 1,200 every single day, Monday through Sunday, you would have finished at 8,400 calories. So let's say you do that 1,200 5 days a week. So that's gonna put you at a deficit on Friday of 1,000 calories. All right, still with me? And then when Saturday and Sunday comes, you're going out a little bit more, you're not really paying attention to your food, you're not tracking your calories. And let me show you how this could be a problem. So let's say you go out to a nice restaurant and you do like a full course meal or whatever. You eat 2 breads, and then you go for a steak and half a cup of mashed potatoes. And then you do a wine, 5 ounce, just 1 glass, and then you do a vodka and club soda, and then you finish out with a small piece of cheesecake. Doesn't seem like it's crazy bad, and it seems like it could just be a little bit of food. Maybe you didn't feel like you stuffed yourself, but you paced it out in such a long duration that you didn't really know how much food you were eating because you really weren't paying attention to it as well. But let's run some numbers. Let's see how much food you actually ate. So when we look at that steak, 220 calories. When we look at that half a cup mashed potatoes, 107 calories. And then we look at those 2 breads that you ate before your entree came, 280 calories. We look at the wine, 116. The vodka club soda, 70. And then that small piece of cheesecake was 820 calories. That's gonna put you at roughly 1,600 calories for that one meal. So that's not even including all the other stuff you did that day. And hopefully you didn't go crazy, but let's say at the end of the day you got 3,000 calories. And then let's say on Sunday you stuck to that 1,200, all right? Let's give it another example. Let's say you didn't eat as much food. Let's say you went to like Olive Garden or something and you got a seafood Alfredo that was 670 calories. Let's say you got 2 breadsticks, that's 280 again. And let's say you got another glass of wine, 232. So that's gonna put you at 1,182. And then let's say roughly you finished out at 3,000 calories. Now this is just one meal. Imagine if you did this twice, right? So let's just say this is a perfect world or whatever, and you had a really good weekend and you only did one of these meals. Because you could way shot over that, right? So Saturday plus 3,000, and then let's say you actually did good on Sunday. So 4,200, right? Plus that 6. So look at that. Now you're in a surplus, right? Like, dude, you were supposed to be at 8,400 and you're at 10. Like, this is not a deficit, this is a surplus. So this alone, like that one meal, not only sets you back, but you probably gained a little bit of weight just from not paying attention to that one meal. So yes, one meal could actually set you back. Just imagine you're doing this every single weekend. All right, so now it makes sense. Like, this is why you aren't seeing the results that you want, because you're not paying attention to your food over the weekend, or you're not setting your calories up, or your food, or having a game plan during the full week. So there's a few ways we can combat this, okay? We can do calorie cycling. Now what that is that's where you do a little bit less during the week where you're actually good. So we kind of use your strength and help you leverage that. So that way on the weekend you have a little bit more flexibility. So let's say instead of 1,200, we made this 1,000, right? And we know that you need 8,400 calories to stay at a deficit. To lose weight to lose body fat every single week. So let's say 1,000 calories, right? For 5 days a week. So it's 5,000. And then those 2 days on Saturday and Sunday, you'll have 1,700 calories to play with, right? And then that's gonna equal out when we add up the Monday through Friday calories, which is 1,000, and we add up the 2 days for 1,700, we're gonna get that 84. And we're gonna be at a deficit. And on the weekend, we'll have a little bit more flexibility to enjoy ourselves and have a little more room for error. Option 2 is, just because it's the weekend, you can't be like, oh, it doesn't count. You know, like, this is a crazy thing. You know, the majority of my clients will, like, let's say eat bad over the weekend and not even put it in, or just act like it didn't even happen. You know, like, they'll tell me it happened, but it's like they don't track it. Game plan and really pay attention to what you're doing over the weekend. Like, let's even say if you go out, instead of doing this mashed potato, let's take that out. Instead of that bread, let's take that out. Instead of this wine, let's take that out. Cheesecake, definitely gotta go. Now, I don't wanna take out everything because I still want you to enjoy your meal. But let's say instead of these mashed potatoes, we did a whole bunch of vegetables, right? You know, so we get a lot of fiber, we get a lot of good nutrients in our body. We got the steak still in there, and I will still even leave the vodka in there. You know, we don't do the bread and we don't do the dessert, and we take out the wine. That alone right there, 70, let's say the vegetables is 100, whatever, 170 plus that steak, whatever. So we're roughly, let's say 400. We're 400 calories versus 16. Like, that alone is gonna definitely help you stay consistent, right? And that'll change this total number if you can stick with that. So you gotta pay attention to the food, and especially at the restaurant. And this is not even accounting for all the sauces or probably the oils that they cook with, because that stuff is always off a little bit. So this option 2 is just you have to stick with the game plan. You have to stick with the game plan. The weekends do count, and it is where most people struggle. When you want to lose fat and you want to lose some weight, you want to feel better, you want to look better, you have to understand that there's trade-offs that has to happen. There has to be some type of sacrifice, you know. So maybe you won't be able to go out every weekend and eat. Maybe you won't be able to get a alcohol beverage or a dessert at every single meal. And there has to be some rules. So let's go over these options. Option 1, you can cycle your calories. So, and that number I gave out, that 1,200 or that 1,400, that was just like an arbitrary number, right? So that's not saying that you have to do 1,200 calories. You can find out what that number is by contacting me, and we can talk about exactly how much food you should be eating based on what you're doing right now, based on your activity. So there's a lot of moving factors that go into it. So that's that calorie cycling. You know, that's gonna be you eating a little bit less through the week. And then when that weekend comes, you have a little bit more flexibility to eat a little bit more. Then number 2 is just really sticking to the plan. If you know it's going to be really hard for you to cut your calories down that low, then stick with it. Stick with your guns, but that means on a weekend you have to pay attention and you have to stay on, on track. Stay on the track, stick to the game plan, okay? The biggest factor is consistency. And if you don't have that, you're not gonna see success. So I hope this helps. And if you have any questions about any of this, make sure you leave a comment or send me a message. All right.